went to the forums and wrote a poem about how they. Thanks a lot for joining me, you two assholes. She writes a poem about how yeah, and she dubs them the Knights of Azure. She calls Balmung of the Azure Sky because he's given a special item he's given his wings as a special item. And she gives Orca the title of the Azure Sea because whale mostly. Okay, symbol fragment. Oh right. These will open up the temple. And then what's it called?
All right.
And it stuck so well, and everyone in the forums loved it. That every time these characters would walk around, they'd be like, "Holy shit, it's Orca the Azure Sea! Oh fuck, it's Balmung the Azure Sky! Oh fuck, these guys are so cool!"
We got him. The regular and combo attacks are just simply normal attacks. Skills enable you to do much more damage to your enemies.
There's a lot of story behind this.
Okay, what you see here is, do you see the 4 panels? You can press the button that corresponds to each panel to exit.
Now try it out by using the
Alright.
The skill trigger is not just a shortcut.
It can also be used to stop enemy attacks. Or it can...
Aren't you forgetting something important, EO10? There is an even more important use for the skill trigger.
Of course I haven't forgotten. You're talking about Rengeki, right?
I love Rengeki. Attack the enemy until it's surrounded by a blue aura. Rengeki! Our morale is up. Keep it up.
There you go.
Oh yeah, the fucking
Very
morale
well.
system, and there's
That's
a
a
fucking
good idea.
super team attack that I can do. Well, cause there's this special system set up where when you attack an enemy multiple times, they'll start glowing like bluish, and you have a shortcut to your skills. If you use your skill during this time, you'll hit them and it'll trigger something called a Rengeki, and you'll basically do some extra damage, and you'll what's it called? You'll boost your team's morale, and it'll give you like a small little thing for the morale bar at the top of the screen. And it'll give you this super team attack. I think it's supposed to be different for each team combination. So like, I think I used to have one of my healers in a mage, and it was like always some kind of magical attack.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Awesome job.
But it's like one big like team
Let's
attack.
finish off by heading for the Beast Temple.
For some extra damage.
Okay, now use the map to check your position, just like we taught you.
Yeah. Alright, you two useless shit. Let's go to the temple. Oh, this game looks so beautiful. And one of the things, and I love how there's just so much to this game, in the lore of this game. It fascinates me. Like there's a point in GU where Haseo's like so fed up with one of the characters named Adelie, and she's trying to get him to look at the game as like, oh, look how beautiful this is. Don't you know about this? And she takes him to this one like field area and it's one that's got this giant ass cannon in the background. Oh, it's this one. This is what I'm looking at right now. It's got this giant ass cannon in the background, and she starts talking about the lore of the game, of the new lore that they put in for the GU update. And it's basically, yeah, this cannon right here, it was built in a time when the humans were fed up with the gods, so their plan was to fucking shoot the gods with a giant ass cannon. Like it's fucking, like, you know those giant ass super weapons they use in like Final Fantasy and anime and stuff like that? It's a giant ass like fucking Goliath cannon.
Like a weapon the size of a small town.
Fucking the size of a small castle. It's fucking huge.
Like I like those little stories of fuck the gods, let's shoot them with something. We'll literally make a fucking lance that can pierce the goddamn heavens to shoot them down if we need to. It's fucking ridiculous shit like that's great.
Right. And then all the monsters have lore, like, you know, standard goblin lore, and, you know, standard this was human and now it's not. And then it's just so good. And there's little like pet creatures in here too. They have like different purposes in GU than they did in the first game. They're called grunties, and they're fucking amazing. They're like horse pigs.
Like, are they mounts, but also some of them are assistant?
In the first games, they were mounts. You would go to your at-home. I don't think Makanu had one. The first at-home.
Is a statue
I think
of
the
Folset,
second one
the
onward,
god of law.
There would be this little corner.
We just call it the beast
you
statue.
could go to.
But I think in the game story, it's supposed to be an important god or something.
There's like a little farm where it'll be like,
See
oh,
that
here's
treasure
a baby
box?
grunty.
That's
You can
the offering
feed it
to the
these
beast
little like
statue.
key item fruits and
There's a
vegetables
rare
you
item
find out
inside
in the
of
field
that
areas.
that you can only get in this
And
area.
depending on what you feed it, it'll
Go
turn
ahead and
into a
open it,
specific grunty.
Haseo.
And you're supposed to like feed it the
Go
types
ahead.
of
You're
food
still a
that
noob. You need all the
it
help you can
wants
get.
to get the perfect grunty, but it's hard to tell what it wants because it'll be like, I want some. It's like, I'm hungry, I want something spicy, and then you'll give it something spicy, and it'll be like, that's not what I wanted. But when you raise it up, it'll become either a poison grunty or a noble grunty or like the perfect grunty or something like that. And when you're in the field, you can ride it, and you won't encounter any fights, but you'll go through the field hella fast. And then if you're in town, you could talk to it and trade it items, and a lot of the times it'll have something stupid rare that you can only get from it. And that's why you're supposed to try and get the perfect grunty, because it's got like some of the strongest weapons in the game. But in GU, there's a guild system, and they act as guild mascots.
Thanks.
Oh, here we go. First thing he saw when he logged in was a PK. Here we go.
The items in the treasure chest are your rewards.
Oh, it's a story thing.
And our reward
One of the driving
is
forces
you.
that takes Haseo to
love
the
taking
brink
out these
is
pathetic
the
noobs.
first time he played
It's really
the game,
quite fun.
the world. He meets the two characters that were with me,
Face
and
it,
they're like,
an idiot
oh,
like
hey,
you
we're gonna help you out. We're gonna
isn't
teach you how to play the
qualified
game.
to
And they
play this
basically teach him
game.
all the basics.
Hey,
They
hold
get down
on.
to this temple,
I thought you said
and
I
then they
could fill
fucking
this
kill him.
one.
Because
Don't you
PKing is
remember?
real in this. They're
After
shit.
all,
They like to prey on new players.
This
They
is my
legitimately wait in
reward.
the noob town, and they're like, hey, you're new to this game, aren't you? Why don't we show you around? And then they'll fucking kill you because you don't know how to play the game. There are people like that. It's like PKing is allowed, and you're in the field, anything goes. But there are like guilds dedicated to it, and there
Nice
are
try,
rogue
dear.
players that just kill each other, and everyone. It's basically frowned upon, but the systems are in place. It's like, hey, you can go over there and you can literally hide. You can jump this kid who's literally doing nothing but maybe killing goblins to level up. There's no request to fight. There's no nothing. It's like, hey, I'm going to attack you, and then you attack him.
Well, what do you expect from a
And it
noob
got to
who's
a
just
point,
logged in for the first time?
To where it's generally frowned upon to PK.
Come on.
If you like
say
try to
something
fight
already.
and there's no terms like these two in this beginning of the game, how they're trying to fight
Just
how they
pretend to be
pick
their
off weak
friend.
players, you're looked down
Fall
and you're
all
looked
over
at as
themselves
scum.
to
You're
let
like,
you PK
oh,
them."
I don't want to play with those guys. They kill people.
Hey,
they
you're
fucking
still
hunt
around,
noobs.
aren't
What
you,
the
kid?
fuck? But then there's also
What the?
but there's like honor in those that do PK and like, you know, they establish rules and stuff. And there's even an arena server where this is where you're supposed to PK. If you PK outside of this server, you're a shitbag kind of thing. And there's a guild. There is a huge guild, like several hundred to I think 1,000 players. It's called what was the name of the guild? It's like Canard, but they're an all PK guild. They do nothing but kill players. Because they believe in strength. If you are not strong enough to beat certain members in that guild, you cannot join that guild. Period.
Welcome to the world.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The best part. Because the game is supposed to take place after the Dot Hack Roots anime, so everything is essentially established after the first scene, which is your tutorial. And so I just finished the tutorial and I'm about to hit the point where it's like it's 8 months later. That's what the scene said. So Haseo is now become something. It's like the dumbest thing only people playing an MMO could ever come up with, and it's so good.
What an idiot.
Because I'm streaming this right now and I have a couple people watching it. I don't want to spoil how they name him yet, because they're about to do it now. But it's so dumb. It's so great.
The terror of death! It's Haseo! The PKK!
They call him.
What?
He basically grew up in a sense. Like he played this game to get strong enough to hold his own. He is known amongst everyone as the fucking PKK, the legendary player killer. It's so dumb, but so great.
I do love the hardcore entry on the second guy.
It's funny because he's what's known as an Adept Rogue. It's a special class that was only given to this GU game. Well, it was given first in the GU game. And how it's supposed to work is, say you want to multi-class, because there's no real such thing as a multi-class system in Dot Hack, or in the world. The Adept Rogue was that answer. You're given like a set of skill points, and every class is given like a value. You start with Adept Rogue, and you're able to pick like a skill set that you want to learn. You pick Twin Blade, and it's assigned a value like from 1 to 3, and I think you can have like a max of 7. And so, and each one gives you like an armor set as well to go with that class. And so he decided to go with Twin Blade first for the speed and agility, and then he decided to go with Heavy Blade for the heavy armor and the power sword. And then he decided to go
I didn't
with
think you'd be that
Scythe.
strong.
I don't remember
guess
what the
this
Scythe
means that the
gave,
rumor about
but
you
all
killing
the
100 PKers wasn't a lie after all.
all the fucking
Hey, come
aesthetics
on,
based